My 25F boyfriend, 25 meters, accidentally slapped me. For a little backstory, I recently found out I'm pregnant. I found out when I was only a few weeks along, and quitting drinking and smoking all of a sudden has been difficult for me. Last night, my boyfriend and I were watching TV and I was laying down. He heard something that he thought was me hitting his vape. He sat up quickly and slapped me in the face. He didn't hit me hard. It was the way you might swat a child's hand when they go to touch something they shouldn't. He has a young child but doesn't hit him. I was so surprised and I just started crying. He kept apologizing over and over and trying to comfort me, saying he didn't really mean to and he thought I was hurting our baby. IDK if this is relevant or I'm just making excuses. But he has told me that his ex was abusive toward him and it's something he's sensitive about. I never thought he would put his hands on me in any way, and this has never happened to me before. I feel betrayed in a way and I feel a little bit scared. I just don't know what to do. Is this something people can work through? Can anyone ever really hit someone by accident? Girl, no. Big no. Hell no. It was not an accident. It was a choice. He chose to physically punish you because he thought you were doing something he didn't want you to do. What will happen if you actually do something he doesn't want you to? Have you ever slapped someone in their face by accident? Yeah, me neither. It wasn't an accident. He told you it wasn't an accident. He told you he thought you were hitting the vape and hurting the baby and that's why he did it. He didn't mean to, after as an excuse because he was mistaken and you weren't even hitting the vape. Accident or not, his first instinct was to hit you. Not to visually check if you were vaping or to ask you if you were vaping. No, he automatically went straight to hitting you. As others have said, him hitting you was not an accident. He himself said that he hit you because he thought you were vaping. If you were vaping, then he would have justified hitting you because of it. No verbal communication or trying to first confirm whether or not he was correct in his assumption. I understand wanting to protect your unborn child. That's a very respectable goal. But to instinctually hit the mother of his child based solely off of assumption is not good, and it is not in the favor of keeping the baby safe. And frankly, on base terms, even if you were vaping, him deciding to hit you because of it is still not acceptable. Period. Sure, of course it's possible to hit someone by accident, like if a child is spinning round in circles and someone gets in the way and they accidentally slap them with their spinning hand. Sometimes it's actually an accident because there's absolutely no intention involved. I was just waving my hand around and didn't realize you were there. But that's not what happened here. He admitted himself that he meant to slap you to stop you from vaping. He had the thought, that sounds like a vape, and made the decision to slap you. Instead of saying, what's that sound? Quote, or looking at you to see if you were vaping. Or shouting, hey, don't use the vape. You're pregnant. Quote, unfortunately, this means that there are some circumstances where he thinks hitting his partner would be acceptable. He believes that if you had been vaping, his reaction would have been appropriate. And that's very worrying. Something else worrying about this is his claim that his ex was abusive. Of course, men can be abused by women, and it happens more than we think. However, if someone you're dating has shown signs of abusive behavior, like literally hitting you, and they say they have an abusive ex, that's kind of a classic abuse scenario. Chances are they abused their ex, but paint themselves as the victim so that you won't believe any claims their ex makes about their behavior. I'm not saying that is what's happening here, but it's something to consider. Couples don't usually work through violence. A line has been crossed here that you can't go back from. I hope you can go to your support system and keep yourself safe while you decide what to do next. It wasn't an accident. His ex wasn't the abusive one, trust me. This will escalate. This is just the start. Now that you're pregnant, you're more tied to him. That's when abuse starts to ramp up. He kept apologizing over and over and trying to comfort me, saying he didn't really mean to and he thought I was hurting our baby. So, he tried to justify slapping you. It was your fault he slapped you. He's testing to see what he can get away with. They're always sorry and apologize. Until the next time. Open your eyes and see your future. That is not an accident. Abusers often claim it was their ex who was abusive. It's time to rethink that relationship before it gets worse. Aw man. I unexpectedly became pregnant with my first last year. In early 2022. When I found out, my fiancé at the time, the father, started to treat me like garbage, and immediately emotionally distanced himself. And then when I was 12 weeks along, he threatened to hit me. The threat was enough to convince me. I got an abortion at 14 weeks and then afterwards, while I was still healing from the abortion surgery, in my, now ex-fiancé's home. He really did haul off and he smucked me as hard as he could. Full force. I saw stars and my ear rang. He was a bodybuilder. I reported him, charged him, and eventually, he was denied citizenship over the ordeal, and got deported back to his home country. If you're in a position to have an abortion surgery, please consider it, so that you are not anchored to this man for life. And so he can never be alone with your child. If you can't abort, then please consider trying your best to access the resources necessary to get yourself into a separate living situation and distance yourself from this man ASAP. That guy is incredibly dangerous. And this is only the beginning. Please be safe. And try to get yourself safer. I am so scared for you and that innocent life inside of you. Heartbreak. That wasn't accidental. An accidental slap is when they are pulling up the blankets and lose their grip or swat at a fly, without realizing how close you are. He thought you were doing something you shouldn't and hit you rather than ask questions. Questions that would have led to him learning that you weren't, in fact, vaping. He would have felt justified in his behavior if you had been vaping. Stop pretending it was unintended. Do you want to raise a child with someone who defaults to violence when they think you are doing something they don't approve of? He didn't hit you by accident. He told you straight up that he hit you on purpose because he thought you were doing something that he didn't like. No, he didn't accidentally slap you. He slapped you because he accidentally thought you were hitting a vape. To him, had you actually been hitting the vape, it would have been justified. You need to get away from anyone who hits you. It is highly likely to escalate. Of course he's apologizing like crazy. How else do you think abusers get their victims to stay with them? It will be this same cycle, over and over and over. Break the cycle. He didn't accidentally slap you. He slapped you on purpose and only felt bad. He was mistaken about the reason for slapping you. Would it have been okay for him to slap you if you really had been vaping? This is domestic violence. And if you're going to stay with this man, you'll be getting very familiar with it. 2 fun facts for you. 1. Pregnancy is one of the most common times for a previously non-abusive man to start abusing his partner. 2. The leading cause of death for pregnant and postpartum women is murder by her male partner. As for his excuse about his ex being abusive, that is literally a textbook thing for an abusive man to say. He is setting you up to do exactly what you just did. Excuse his abuse of you by acting like it's trauma-based of some, almost certainly fictional, abuse he suffered from a woman, typically an ex or his mother. He's also setting the stage for you not to believe his ex if she ever tells you about how he abused her. He likely did abuse her. Please read Why Does He Do That by Lundy Bancroft. It may save your life. If it's not too late, consider terminating this pregnancy and getting far away from this man. You don't want to be tied to him for the rest of your life. You just learned some very important things about your boyfriend. 1. He is perfectly willing to strike you with no hesitation. 2. He is perfectly willing to resort to violence without knowing for certain that it is required. 3. He is perfectly willing to slap his pregnant girlfriend and, if the circumstances had been different, believes he would have been right to do so. Do you want this man around you and your baby? Do you think it's safe to be around a man who has proven that he is willing to do violence to you? If you feel scared, that tells you it wasn't an accident. Even if you were sitting there with a cigarette, he doesn't get to hit you. WTF if you cut yourself a slice of brie or munch some sushi, is he going to hog tie you? Get some distance right now. Move home and reassess in a couple of months. It's incredibly common for physical abuse to start or escalate during pregnancy. I would have understood him slapping it out of your hand to protect the baby. Slapping you in the face is not an accident. You have to aim. He had a reason that justified the accident in his head. He slapped you, a pregnant woman, in the face, on purpose. Yeah girl, no accident happened here. If you accept this, he will keep pushing and pushing to see what he gets away with. Leave, leave, leave. I've never accidentally slapped my boyfriend or anyone in my life. I've never accidentally been slapped. That's a chosen reaction. This was no accident, and it will get worse. Please, get out. But it wasn't an accident. He slapped you intentionally. Statistically, domestic abuse ramps up when a woman is pregnant as the abuser feels you're stuck. Now, I would be wary of his suggestion that he is the victim of past relationships unless you have actual police reports. It is more likely he was the perpetrator. We have Claire's Law over here, where you can find out if your partner is known to the police. Regarding domestic abuse, it's a brilliant service and has saved countless women. I guess you're in America? I wonder if you have something similar. But unfortunately, the abuse will only get worse. Especially when the baby arrives.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.